Jem is my name, no one else is the same. Jem is my name. Jem.
Did I mention that the Misfits are their own worst enemies and just everybody hates them? Because the Misfits are their own worst enemies and everybody hates them. So, Kimber did not die. She managed to get rescued by the stunt double guy, and she didn't blow up. So that's good. So JEM and the Holograms quit for realsies this time. Because it's just too dangerous. It's not worth dying over. But little Bonnie... Bonnie? Actually, her name is not Bonnie, it's Bonnie. She's Vietnamese. I kept hearing Bonnie, but it's Bonnie. Not Bonnie.
Don't be afraid, Bonnie. I'm not. This is the nurse, Bonnie.
That's enough tests for now, Bonnie. Bonnie has a degenerative eye condition.
Bonnie's an orphan.
Within a matter of months, perhaps even weeks, Bonnie will be blind.
Good night, Bonnie.
I want you to look at Bonnie. I'm worried about her eyes.
That's $3 from Bonnie. I walked Mrs. Ledger's dog.
Oops. So, but Bonnie is still gonna go blind if we don't get $250,000 here. So, JEM and the Holograms are like, what can we do? And it's like, well, you know, let's just make our own movie. I mean, we've shot music videos, and Rio is like, hey, you know, I'll work for free. And everyone else on the Misfits movie quits and comes over, and they're like, hey, we'll all work for free too. And it's like, oh, you guys. So they end up making a movie. And the Misfits just drive everyone nuts, and they just go through different employees like toilet paper and make Eric Raymond long for the peaceful release of death. Because he just can't stand them either. It's like, now I know why Pizzaz's daddy is willing to flush millions of dollars down the toilet just to get her out of his hair, because she's just awful. So they're hoping that this little independent film makes enough money, and they're selling the soundtrack, and they're doing all kinds of stuff, and they wanted to raise money to fix Bonnie's eyes. But the Misfits can't have that. No. So they send Clash, who's their groupie, to sabotage the new JEM low-budget independent movie. And so she puts on a disguise, which means Clash, like pretty much everyone else, has big, wild, colorful hair and lots of face paint. So she just takes the color out of her hair and washes the face paint off her face. And dresses down a little bit. A little less flamboyant. That works. So she wanders on set, and I'm thinking, oh God, what is she gonna do? Because the last thing she did was almost blow up Kimber. And so she grabs an extension cord and sneaks it outside and puts it in her trunk. And I'm like, well, that's certainly going to be an inconvenience to somebody. Well, damn, we're missing an extension cord. Can't just go to Home Depot and get another one. But no, that's not the extent. She goes back in, and she goes into wardrobe, and she just grabs a whole rack of clothes and walks out with it, throws it in her car. There's a hardware and equipment van that pulls up, and they start unloading sound equipment. She just pulls an entire big piece of electronic equipment, like a mixing board or something, out of the back and throws it in her car. She steals the script supervisor's script and stopwatch. She just steals everything. Nobody notices. She's just loading up her damn car with stuff. And turns out, the makeup person who fixed Clash so that she wouldn't be recognizable was one of the people who quit the Misfits and migrated over to the JEM and the Holograms movie. So she recognized her because she made her up like that. She was like, that's Clash from the Misfits. She up to no good. And Clash is like, uh-oh! She runs, gets her car, and drives away with all her pilfered goods. And so Jem and the holograms chase her down the street in the Gem mobile. And Jem is like, Synergy, help! And Synergy just puts a hologram of a giant damn tree in front of, in the middle of the road. City street. Big, like, California redwood type tree. Somehow laying across a city street. And, but, I mean, hey, if you see a gigantic tree in your path, you might do what Crash does. And Crash does exactly what my sister does when driving. And that's, oh no! Ah! Take your hands off the wheel and cover your eyes! Of course, it's a hologram, so she just goes straight through it. And she ditches the car and runs back and reports her failure to the Misfits, but I guess she took the time to put the color back in her hair and draw the face paint stuff back on and change her clothes before she did. Because, you know, no rush. So, they each independently finish their own movies. Somehow, because Eric Raymond gets, like, the unions of four different unions, like, suing him. So I don't know if he's going to have to pay lawyers a lot of money to keep him out of jail again. But the movie studio is put in control of the guy who gave the Gem the movie contract in the first place. So I kind of thought he was a higher up there, so maybe he got a promotion. I don't know. Whatever. So, it's the night of the premiere. And it turns out that it's also the night of Bonnie's surgery. So, they haven't made any money yet. But Gem has, I guess, just put the deed to the mansion up as collateral against the surgery in case the movie doesn't perform. I don't know if that's... Something tells me that's not realistic, but whatever. There are holograms in this show. Oh, speaking of holograms, a couple episodes ago, it was clearly established that holograms cannot pick things up.
Jerica!
Synergy, project Jerica.
Right here, Eric.
Here, hold this. Oh, pick it up!
Oh no.
Even though I'm pretty sure one did in an earlier episode.
Okay, Zipper, let her go. Huh? Eric? Let her go. Eric! Didn't you hear us? Oh no! We said let her go.
Because Synergy has to do the thing where she has to... Jerica's standing there and they need Gem, and so she just makes a holographic projection of Gem. But that's just a complete holographic projection. It can't pick anything up. There's also this really weird scene where she's like, okay, showtime's over, Synergy. And Gem is facing... Yeah, you have the holographic Gem, and then you have Jerica wearing the holographic Gem disguise. And they're facing each other, and this one blinks out, and Jerica is suddenly facing the other way. It is so weird. It is like a... it's like a T-1000 morph.
Show's over, Synergy.
The Misfits movie is playing at a theater, and the Gem and the Holograms movie is playing at another theater right across the street from each other. So, one-screen theaters, I guess. Anyway, the Misfits movie sucks. Of course it does, because Pizzazz and the girls were not really interested in making a movie. They're just putzing around. And they got bored halfway through and left anyway, so what could you have possibly made out of that? I still am a little salty with Rio's behavior. Because Gem does something that hey, let's go and rehearse our love scene. That guy, he's like, hey, I'll come and work with you guys for half my price. And she's like, okay. And Rio's like, well, if that's the way you feel about it, Gem.
Just for you, babe, I'll work for half my usual fee.
We don't need your help. Now, Kimber, let's not be hasty.
But Jim, we shot half the film with Rio as the lead.
All right, if that's the way you feel about it, Jem.
Oh, Rio. Dude. Rio. Dude, Rio. And she's like, wait, you jackass. You can have a bit part, and you have to work for free like the rest of us. And he goes, nope, and he leaves. Oh, I love you, Jem.
I don't do bit parts, and I don't work for free.
Jem, you're the greatest.
No, you jackass. You don't do that. Bad Rio. You think they're two people, so you're being bad. Jerica's not being fair, but you're still being bad. I've got my eye on you, Rio. You watch your ass. So the Misfits movie sucks, so all of the word of mouth spreads that it sucks. So everyone goes to see the JEM movie, and it's a success, and they get a check for their cut of the proceeds from that night, and wouldn't you know it, it's exactly $250,000. So that worked out well. So Bonnie gets her eyes fixed, and they go see the movie together, and we're all happy, and the end. But there's 3 seasons of this show, so I'm sure the Misfits will just. I think Pizzazz just really needs a hobby, or maybe her hobby is just making other people miserable. The songs are getting a little bit more experimental and a little bit more varied. It's nice to see. They have kind of a "We Are the World."
People who care are people who share, people who give, so other people can live.
When it started, I was like, "Oh, feel good anthem, not feeling it," it's a lot better than you'd expect. So I'm like, okay. I wasn't feeling it, but no, you did a good job with it, so aces. When the JEM and the Hologram film wraps, they finish the scene, they're like, yay, we finished, and that's a wrap, and everyone's like, woo, throw confetti, and there's 2 women kissing, and I'm like, who is that? Is that Ashley? She's like 13, and she's totally like full on, embrace, smoochy, bend over kind of. I'm like, oh man, get it, girl. Even though you're 13, you're doing better than me, so yay. And it's really quick. It's like 1 frame. And I was like, was Ashley making out with someone? I'm going to have to rewind and see. They seem happy. It's nice that movies bring us all together. So hooray. And that's all I have to say about that, except for the things I forgot, which maybe I'll remember to say later.